30 years after the death of Constantine the Great, equal to the apostles, there was another emperor, Julian the Apostate. And Julian wanted nothing more than to revive ancient Roman paganism. He saw Christianity as his enemy. He hated it. He bathed in the blood of bulls in a wicked attempt to reverse his baptism. He reopened the pagan temples. He resumed the animal sacrifices. He stripped the church of what the empire had provided it, funds and lands, and forced Christianity back really into the catacombs. Yet he was unable to revive ancient Roman paganism with the methods of Diocletian, the methods of the emperors of old. So Julian, once being a Christian himself, looked for a gotcha moment, and that gotcha moment was the prophecy in Matthew 24, the prophecy that the temple would be destroyed. And it was in 70 AD, when the Romans broke in, killed many Jews, and destroyed the temple. Julian the Apostate had his gotcha moment. All he had to do was rebuild the temple, and the credibility of Christianity would crumble. So he set about doing it by getting together funds, assigning imperial officials to the task, and gathering the Jews of the Roman Empire. Jews and pagans worked together to recreate, to rebuild, to reconstruct another temple. Yet there was trouble. For the second day of work, they went to go and continue work, and the soil and dirt and earth that they had removed, well, it was like they had done nothing, for it had all shifted back into place. But they persisted and continued their work. However, their work was interrupted by a storm, by a wild whirlwind. Tools and materials and earth and dirt were cast in all directions by this monstrous storm. To make matters worse, the laborers not only had to deal with this storm, but an earthquake, for the ground split and open where they were working, and it is written in these historical accounts that there were fireballs that burst out, fireballs that burst out from the foundations of this new temple that they were trying to build. Men were burnt, the rest went running. They needed shelter, so they ran straight for the church that had been built by St. Helena. Before they could enter, the doors shut right in front of them. They were locked out and left in that windy storm, the earth trembling beneath them. Those laborers never finished building the temple. They got the message, and they did not continue trying. Other historical accounts detail perhaps plagues. The workers, for example, found that the fountains just would not work. These men couldn't go and get a drink after breaking their backs, working the soil and the earth, moving stones, putting down the foundation. They were left thirsty after their labor. At one point, a famine broke out. Imagine working construction without lunch. And then there were two, well, mysterious, but not really, deaths of imperial officials. One was eaten alive with worms, the other burst asunder in the midst. Now, one can say that these historical accounts are exaggerated. One might even claim that they are fraudulent. But the historical fact is this: Julian the Apostate was determined to rebuild the temple, and he did try. He tried very hard, at least while he was around. And for whatever reason, the project was abandoned. While the accounts could be hyperbolic, the fact of the matter is that Julian the Apostate did not have his gotcha moment. He was not able to undermine Christianity's credibility. Julian did not see success against his enemy, that being Christianity. But the true tragedy is that Julian's enemy was not Christianity. Julian's true enemy, though he did not realize it, was the devil, the serpent. He had been deceived, for the devil is our adversary and our opponent and our enemy, no matter what. From the most wicked sinners to the most pious saints, he hates us and wants to see us fall into ruin. Even those that worship the evil one, he despises. For those who follow the evil one are marching with him into destruction, and he knows very well where he is going. So while Julian the Apostate went through so much effort, and quite some effort, to try and crush Christianity and reestablish paganism, the worship of demons, he failed. His failure did not show him his own error, his own mistake, which was abandoning Christ and embracing what had already been defeated, which was the paganism of Rome, very well on its way out, dead in the water, if you will.